All right, let's talk about writing. Specifically, let's talk about that crucial moment when you've finished your first draft and you're not sure what to do next. Today, we're going to demystify the whole process of turning that rough draft into something you're actually proud of.
So you did it. You got the words on the page, you hit the word count, but now you're just kind of staring at it, thinking, now what? Trust me, every single writer on the planet knows this feeling. But don't you worry. This is where the real work and the real magic actually begins. Okay, here's the most important thing you need to get straight from the get-go. Revising and editing are two totally different things. It's like building a house. Revising, that's the architect. You're looking at the big picture, the foundation, the walls, the overall structure. Editing is the interior designer who comes in later to worry about the paint color and the furniture. You can't start decorating a house if the foundation is cracked, right? Same idea.
And I love this quote because it perfectly captures the right mindset. Revising isn't about being ashamed of your mistakes. It's a professional practice. It's training. Just like an athlete runs drills to get better, writers revise to make their thinking stronger and their arguments sharper. It's how you level up.
So let's start with that first pass. It's time to put on our architect's hat and take a hard look at the blueprint of your entire piece. Right now, we are totally ignoring the small stuff and just focusing on two really big ideas. First up is unity. You have to ask yourself, does every single thing in this paper serve my main point? Did I go off on a tangent over here, even if it was a really interesting one? See, if a sentence or even a whole paragraph doesn't support your core idea, it's just dead weight. You have to be ruthless. If it doesn't belong, it has to go. And next, we've got coherence. This is all about the flow. Does your writing feel like a smooth journey, guiding the reader from one point to the next? Or does it feel kind of choppy, like a bunch of random thoughts just thrown together? You want to create a seamless path for your reader to follow.
And hey, here are the tools to build that coherence. These transition words are basically the glue that holds your ideas together. Words like however, therefore, and furthermore, they're like little signposts for your reader, showing them exactly how your thoughts connect. It makes your writing so much easier to follow.
All right, so our blueprint is solid. The structure is there. Now it's time to zoom in for the second pass. We're going from the big picture to the tiny details. This is all about making every single word pull its weight. Let's look at a classic example of a wordy sentence. Anytime you see a sentence starting with there is or there are, that should be a little red flag. It's almost always a weaker, flabbier way to say something. So take a look at this. How can we make it more direct, more powerful? Well, who's actually doing something in this sentence? The biology department, right? So let's put them in the driver's seat. Boom. See that? We went from 11 words down to 7. The sentence is active now. It's direct. It has so much more punch. It's such a small change, but it makes a huge difference in your writing's energy. Okay, here's another trap we all fall into, piling on words that mean the same thing. I mean, if someone is famous, they're also well known. You don't need both. Saying the same thing twice just clutters up the sentence. By just trimming that little bit of fat, the real message pops. The focus is now on what these advocates did, not on a pile of redundant adjectives. Much clearer, right? So, the big takeaway here is pretty simple. You have to choose the right words for the job. For most formal writing, that means skipping the slang and contractions. It means finding fresh ways to say things instead of using tired cliches. And please replace vague words like good or thing with something specific and descriptive. Okay, deep breath. The structure is solid, the language is sharp. Now, it's time for the final polish. This is the editing stage. Think of it as the final quality inspection before your work goes out into the world. Your editing checklist is pretty straightforward, but it's absolutely crucial. You're hunting for typos, you're double-checking your punctuation, your commas, your apostrophes, you're fixing any lingering grammar mistakes, and you're making sure your sentences aren't all the same length, which can get really boring for the reader. And why is this so critical? Because here's the honest truth. Nobody's going to give you a medal for correct spelling and grammar. That's just the expected baseline, but they will definitely notice the errors. And every single typo is a little distraction that pulls them out of your argument and chips away at your credibility. And now, for the last and honestly, maybe the most powerful tool in your writing kit. After you've done everything you possibly can, it's time to bring in your secret weapon, a fresh pair of eyes. I mean, it's just a fact. You are too close to your own writing. You know what you meant to say, so your brain automatically fills in any gaps or fixes any confusing parts. But an outside reader, they only have the words on the page. They are your first real audience. And that's the real value here. Getting feedback isn't about being told you're a bad writer. It's a test run. It's a low-stakes chance to see exactly where a real reader gets confused or what parts really get them excited before it gets to your professor or your boss. But you have to ask for the right kind of feedback. Don't just hand your paper to a friend and say, "Is this good?" No way. Ask specific, targeted questions like these. This guides your reader to give you advice that's actually concrete and helpful. And when you get that feedback, you have to know what to do with it. You want to run it through a simple 2-part test. That's what this 2 is all about. First, does this suggestion actually support the main goal of my paper? And second, is this feedback appropriate for my intended audience? If you get a yes on both, it's probably pretty solid advice. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this final thought. Think of your writing as a conversation with your reader. And everything we've talked about today, from the big structural revisions down to the tiniest comma, it all serves one purpose: making sure your side of that conversation is clear, compelling, and memorable. So ask yourself, what's the one thing you really want them to walk away with? Let that question be your guide.